in Minneapolis. The new look Gophers facing the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. Sloan Martin, Megan McEwen along with you here at the barn. We'll start with our starting lineups tonight. 4-3 Wake Forest returns 4 starters despite a coaching change. They are headlined by last season's leading scorer in the ACC, Jules Spear. And then Megan, you see the freshman for Minnesota, 3 true freshmen. Beats it up from 3. Preseason All-ACC Wooden Award watch list as well. And that's who she will be facing to start things off tonight, the freshman from Minnesota, Amaya Battle. Winning the tip is the Demon Deacons, and the first touch goes to Spear, and then into the post, Amira Hines. We're going to be talking about her with her ability on the glass as she misses her first look. Goes right into the post for Rose Misha in her second season, bringing the most experience of any Gopher in this starting lineup, and she'll turn it over to start things off.
Rose Misha has been the type of player that made a massive jump from last year to this year, and Coach Whalen's been really happy with just simply her development and understanding of the game of basketball. It's at a much higher level now than it was as a freshman. 3 double-doubles so far this season. Trying to be a force in the paint for this Gophers team that is very young. Harrison is going to swing it. You're going to see the ball move back and forth, and a good deflection there by Braun. We had the opportunity to talk to Braun pregame, and she said she was taking a lot of pride on the defensive side of the ball. And little things like deflections are so crucial to a defense because it forces Wake Forest to have to stop and reset everything.
I think coaches maybe like deflections more than any other stat.
100%.
Elise Williams with a lot of force to the rack and is met by Misha. Mara Braun, the leading scorer for the Gophers, top 5 in the conference, meets a double team, threads the needle. Now another freshman, Mallory Heyer, on her first attempt. Good paint defense by the Demon Deacons. In the building tonight, a Naismith Hall of Famer in Lindsay Whalen in her 5th season leading the Gophers. Also just inducted, well, she will be in 2023, to the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame in Knoxville as well.
Lindsay Whalen has a lot of Hall of Fame speeches she's got to get to writing, but one of the all-time greats to do it. And how fantastic these young freshmen have the ability to learn from one of the greatest point guards to ever play the game.
Harrison fouled as she drives to the net. I loved listening to Coach Whalen during Big Ten Media Days, talking about how she practiced her speech at least 3 dozen times. She was later to go and just felt the anxiety building up, but she crushed it.
Absolutely crushed it. Anyone should go to YouTube and watch it as well because it was fantastic and an incredible accomplishment as well.
It was her patented personality on display. It was Lindsay Whalen, as we all know her to be.
Well, she's a very dry sense of humor. Yes. She's hysterical, and her team loves her. Made the half-court shot today at shoot-around as well, so she was flexing on everybody and reminding us that she still's got some game.
Misha, that bounces out the back. Wake Forest leading 2-0 as Minnesota struggling to get its shot to fall. First look for Spear off target.
Spear told us her favorite move was the step-back 3. That was on display right there, but she is a shooter. She forgets those misses.
Battle patient, waiting for the screen, goes the other direction, difficult pull-up. And Minnesota still struggling to score here early. Breaking up the fast break is the Gophers. And Olivia Sumiel for 3. They'll misfire. Both teams pretty cold right now. 0 for 7 combined.
Well, it is 17 degrees outside, Sloan, so I would say if they're cold, that could be why.
Baravage misfires for 3. It was fun hearing about, and we should be seeing her later today. But a Demon Deacon player, Katie Diebel, first time seeing snow right here in Minneapolis. She's from Australia. I remember my first snow as well.
Do you?
I mean, I was an adult.
Really?
Yeah.
And you live in Minneapolis.
At this point, yes. Spear trying to corral things. 4 seconds on the shot clock. Both offenses disjointed. It's Harrison gets the first field goal of the game at 7 minutes on the clock.
Deflating as a defense to let the shot clock run down so much, but a fantastic finish in the paint.
Desperation shot, she got to go, and there is Battle creating. She does the small things, setting up Misha in the paint. Talking to Katie Borovich before the game, she said, watch Amaya Battle for how she is able to make things happen offensively. Picking up an assist there.
Minnesota has a great problem. They have 2 point guards on the floor when Battle and Borovich are in the game.
Spear over 2 Gophers. That was a difficult shot they forced her into as Borovich fighting for it with Sumiel.
Battle has length, and she also has a point guard mind. So coming off the screen and creating just that little hesitation dribble to come back, create space, and threads the needle beautifully to Rose Misha. This is just pure patience and an understanding of the game to get that connection down to the post.
Battle bringing the ball up the floor. She went to a powerhouse school here in the Twin Cities, was high school teammates with Paige Beckers, played on this floor many, many times in the state tournament as Misha can't hit the free throw line jumper.
I like how active Minnesota has been getting Misha the ball early because they're trying to establish a post presence which will open up the three-point line eventually and cause the defense to collapse.
Sneaking in is Higher. Great movement in the post to be able to knock that away. Borovich gets it back from Higher, and Minnesota's going to reset. And here an example of this 2-point guard tandem lineup they have on the floor, but Borovich will turn it over.
And that pass was way too low at Misha's feet. She had deep position on that as well.
Is that something you just have to fire in there?
A missed opportunity, absolutely. You have to get the ball inside, especially when Misha had that seal perfectly down low. The moment an offensive guard sees their numbers of the post player, get it inside.
Wake Forest comes into this game led by Megan Jebbia, her first season leading the Demon Deacons. She spent 10 years at American, where she had 5 20-win seasons, went to 3 NCAA tournaments. As Battle picks up the loose ball and on the run will turn it over again. Minnesota not going to be able to get back in time, but Scruggs misses the bunny right at the rim. Spear with it now. Another pull up, she'll misfire and ripped down by Bradwell. Team shooting a combined 2 for 14 as Battle and 1 gonna put a stop to that.
How aggressive. Not only is guard Amaya Battle getting it done defensively, guarding Jewel Spear, the leading scorer for Wake Forest, she's also getting it done on the offensive end, driving to the basket, creating opportunities from an assist standpoint and a scoring standpoint. Although she's got to make her free throws.
Does miss that one and does not complete the three-point play, but as you saw just right there, Megan, making an impact when it comes to Big Ten freshmen. She actually has said that she even surprised herself how well she is rebounding in the Big Ten this year.
Having a guard, especially a point guard that can rebound the ball, is massive because it allows breaks to start faster. Therefore, teams can play with more tempo and pace.
9th overall in the Big Ten in rebounds per game, putting that 5'11" frame of the point guard position to use. And she said, sometimes it's just guards not blocking me out. I'm going to take advantage of that.
I said to you in shoot-around, Sloan, Amaya's arms are a mile long. She has this fantastic length and it's helping her on both sides of the ball so far.
I don't mind a pun.
Listen, I love a good pun. You know, you've known me and worked with me long enough to know that.
Harrison being guarded by Battle this time. And Bradwell now getting the assignment against Spear. She takes her right back door, but still not able to find the bottom of the net. Spear 0 for 4 to start, but does have 4 rebounds as Higher will kick it out. Braun also looking to get her shot going. And she travels there.
Braun hesitated on that play, but she should have just shot at the moment she got the ball back, saw the contest coming from that left side, and thought about putting it on the floor. Sometimes your brain's working faster than your feet, and a travel happens.
Do you think even as a freshman, especially with how her team's struggling to shoot 2 for 8 from the floor, you can also be sped up and trying too hard with how things are going offensively?
Just the pace of play in general is so much faster, and trying to adjust the physicality and that tempo can be challenging.
Sumiel with a beautiful face-up and the mid-range jumper gets that to fall. And Wake Forest shooting 2 for 10 from the floor as a team. turnover for Minnesota. That is their 5th of this first quarter, and Spear wide open. She's 0 for 5.
Spear's tough, though. She's going to continue shooting the ball because scorers know they have to maintain that hunting mentality, and missed shots don't matter.
Bradwell off the cross-court pass, and a good box out there by Williams, who snares the rebound. Williams takes some contact from Battle, who uses her size to stay with her. Sumiel, the spin move against the freshman Higher, and Sumiel stepping up for the Demon Deacons.
Sumiel staying extra aggressive, but had deep positioning down low, so that simple move left her right under the basket with the proper angle.
Coming off a game in which she had 9 rebounds, 5 assists down low, and Higher will draw the foul against the Demon Deacons. For the biggest Minnesota experience, there's no plus like home. The Big Ten Plus app, powered by Big Ten Network. Your favorite Gophers content, streaming and on demand, plus the iconic games and exclusive events. Only on the Big Ten Plus app. Download and subscribe now. Mallory Higher, part of this group of star freshmen. Really balanced production she's putting up for Minnesota. 10 points, 6.5 rebounds as well.
Higher simply possesses size. She can play with her back to the basket and make a move, but can also play in the mid-range as well. So kind of a positionless big, if you get what I'm saying.
Robinson ripping down the rebound off another missed Minnesota free throw. They're 1 for 3 to start so far, as Becker goes to work too strong against Higher, who stands her ground in the paint. 2 minutes to go in this opening corner. Beautiful look back door, but another travel by Minnesota. That is their 6th turnover in this quarter.
Minnesota's playing a little too fast. They need to slow down, take a breath, and let the game come to them. Credit Wake Forest for forcing that speed up, but Minnesota just needs to take a chill pill.
Megan, you've played in the ACC Big Ten Challenge. Can you be hyped up for this kind of early season matchup too?
Sloan, I'm wearing my ACC Big Ten Challenge socks right now, and yes, you can be hyped up for this type of challenge. It's not the socks from college, from the gift they give you.
I was wondering, because I kind of wanted my own.
Well, the last year of the challenge, we'll see what we can do for you.
All right, maybe there's some lying around somewhere I'll be able to snatch up. But you're right, it's the final of a 15-year tradition. I know one that I look forward to as Michael Caton comes in for the Golden Gophers. Spent 2 years at Nebraska. 6th year of college basketball for her. And just gets it into Gradwell. Maggie Sonano off the bench, sister to Monica Sonano of Iowa. Both Minnesota natives. She decided to stay home. 3 seconds on the shot clock for Baravage, and she makes a beautiful pass, but not there for Misha.
The shot doesn't go, but that was the correct play for Baravage to make.
Spear off the dribble. There she gets it to sink, and that was a beautiful one too.
Spear is mentally tough, hasn't been able to get a shot to drop, finally gets one. 1 for 6 from the field, but players like that see a shot go, and they can heat up easily.
6-1 run for the Deeks. And that's even without a whole lot of involvement from Spear.
Spear was used to having the ball in her hand last year. She's super comfortable with it, can create off of ball screens, and doesn't need a ton of space to get that shot off. That quick release is everything for Spear.
That's still a transition for the Demon Deacons, even though they've only lost 1 player, even though there was a coaching change, just 1 graduating senior, so a lot of cohesion and closeness with this squad as Caton tries to hold in the air. Misha can't clean it up.
Misha has to focus on finishing. She's missed 2 easy layups and back-to-back possessions. That comes down to focus.
Amir Hines with the rebound there. One of the best in the ACC. The 3-pointer does not fall for Andrews. And back to Minnesota. Shot clock is off. Minnesota shooting 18% from the floor, 2 for 11 overall. Mishaw slips the screen. Borovich loses it. There's Hines who finds Spears, immediately looks at the clock. She had enough time to set her feet. Would not be surprised at that.
The head. I mean, is there anything that mascot or this man cannot do, Sloan?
Goldie was so excited that he set down his imitation axe in order to celebrate, and that's what you want from a mascot.
I know, we got to get a zoom-in look on that axe because that is a fantastic prop that Goldie's rocking with right now.
You know, it's a little rudimentary from what I was able to just glance at, but I respect the effort.
Look at that. A real-life Paul Bunyan axe. I mean, the Minnesota native, by the way, is Mr. Paul Bunyan.
That's exactly right. Though Michigan State has the Paul Bunyan Trophy, so I think kind of the Great Lakes area can claim him, as Hire lines up and drains a three. Minnesota badly needing that. It's a 2-point game.
Minnesota's going to claim Hire, I think, to talk about the Great Lakes area claiming Paul Bunyan, but that's all Minnesota needs to see, a bucket go in for everybody to get some confidence.
And especially for Hire, who came into today shooting under 30% from three-point range for this season. Harrison trying to shed Borovich. That goes off of Andrews. 2 seconds left, and it's a backcourt violation anyway, as Lindsay Whalen was making sure to point out.
Coach Whalen had the call. You know, sometimes everyone needs a little help. The officials, head coaches will give a little bit of help. Minnesota has been fantastic from an intensity standpoint on the defensive side of the ball in the first minute of the second quarter. Coach Whalen must have given quite the quarter speech in order to tell them to pick up the pace on that side.
A battle, a difficult shot, gets her own board, denied again, and Mishaw, standing out of bounds, will turn it over.
Minnesota getting some confidence on the offensive side because it started with the defensive stop. The defensive stop led to this possession and a skip pass to Hire. The defense for Wake Forest was off and help a little bit, so Hire had just enough time on the skip pass to get the shot off.
Williams gets that to fall. An excellent bounce for the Demon Deacons. They lead by 4. Borovich along the baseline. Did she spin that through? Great basket for the redshirt freshman.
We usually say thread the needle with a pass, but she literally threaded a needle with her body with that reverse layup. Fantastic move to the basket by the redshirt freshman.
2 minutes into the second quarter, Minnesota trying to get things going offensively. Both teams still under 30%. Williams goes hard to the basket and the foul.
Williams is so aggressive coming off of ball screens, reads the defense, and then understands how to attack. Battle goes over the screen, but Williams gets Battle on her hip and is still able to square her shoulders to the basket. How about we look at the thread the needle play? Borovich gets it off just in time. I mean, come on, you gotta love a little slippery play by the guard.
The foul going against Amaya Battle. But that's the kind of offense that Borovich is capable of bringing in her first full season joining the team in the spring of 2020. Defense by the Demon Deacons as Battle gets it back, and Destiny Oberg will be whistled for an illegal screen.
The key on setting a legal screen is you cannot move your body, you cannot move your arms away from your body to try to set the screen. To me, she was set on that play. The official's going to say it was because she moved her shoulder slightly, but I thought Oberg had the initial real estate to set the screen.
Drives and pulls it out. Williams trying to get through a stacked paint by Minnesota, under 10 on the shot clock for the Demon Deacons. Harrison, the hesitation, splitting defenders, and that bounces out. 30% shooting for Wake Forest as both teams trying to snap out of this slump.
Wake Forest has only gotten open looks coming off of ball screens, so credit Minnesota for the staunch defense and making it really difficult for Wake Forest to get an open look.
Missed there by Becker. I wonder if Heyer even got a piece of that as she closed out really quickly. Borovic is just going to throw it up, and that's no good. One and done for Minnesota's offense.
I don't love that shot from Borovic early. That was like a 25-footer too early in the shot clock.
Harrison going to slow things down for Wake Forest. Seconds on the shot clock, into the paint. It is Hines who misfires off the glass, and Minnesota's transition offense rolling. Braun is fouled, and she'll have a chance for her first points of today as she goes to the free throw line. Saturday, the Gophers are back in action here in Minneapolis when they open conference play against Penn State. Coverage begins Saturday at 8:30 Eastern on Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. Very much looking forward to that one, Megan, because Penn State is 7-0 this season, entering tonight's game against the University of Virginia. But that's the best start since the 96-97 season for the Nittany Lions.
Penn State has guard McKenna Marisa, who ranks in the top 5 in the scoring in the Big Ten last season. She can play.
Braun knocks down both at the free throw line. She has not attempted a shot in this game either as the leading scorer from Minnesota.
That was the main focus and shoot-around for the Demon Deacons, trying to slow down Braun and make it really difficult for not only for her to shoot the ball, but for her to get the ball.
Williams is fouled right underneath the basket. And free throws coming up here off the foul from Michael Caton. So Wake Forest leading by 2. Trying to get more points at the free throw line. Wake Forest looking for its first Power 5 win this season. Both these teams, Megan, have played Virginia. Minnesota won by 3. Wake Forest lost by 20.
I like how both of these teams have played Power 5 opponents in the non-conference because it's so important to be battle-tested by the time you head into conference play. As important as it is to get some easy wins to build confidence, you got to play against tough competition if you want to compete in either the ACC or Big Ten.
Maya Battle's going to reset and put up a 3 off target, and a great box out by Summing. Minnesota going deep into the shot clock there. Maybe not getting the best shot they want.
Wake Forest needs to get Spear a touch on this possession.
Foul away from the ball as Williams and Battle go tumbling down.
That was like dominoes falling.
Foul is going to go against Amaya Battle. That's her second, and she's going to be replaced by Katie Borovic.
Battle has been all over just trying to get around the screen, but instead of going around the screen, she went through the screen.
You bring up that looking like dominoes. It sounded like just bodies toppling.
Oh no, it happened in slow motion as well. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do to get through the screen if you're a defender.
Spear being guarded by Borovic, last year's leading scorer in the ACC. They go into the paint. Williams one-on-one, just that easy.
Williams deep in the paint allowed her to have the perfect angle to the basket.
Williams described by her coach as the smartest player on the team, the highest IQ. As Braun is fouled, and she'll earn another trip to the free throw line. Williams, by the way, has scored the last 7 points for the Demon Deacons.
Well, Williams has also gotten it done on the defensive side of the ball, trying to create turnover opportunities for the Demon Deeks, but she's been fantastic, scoring in a variety of ways, getting to the basket, and just trying to draw fouls as well.
That last foul on Alyssa Andrews as Braun goes to the free throw line once more. The second time today, she's 3 for 3. The level of concern, Megan, that she does not have a shot attempt so far.
It's not concerning simply because Braun's a player that understands allowing the game to come to her. I'm more impressed with the fact that she hasn't taken bad shots and gotten frustrated as a freshman.
Minnesota bringing some full court pressure. The Demon Deacons break it easily, almost get a fast break layup out of it, but Sonano able to corral that loose ball. Savage always keeping her eyes up, tries to drop a dime, almost a turnover as we approach the midway point of the second quarter. Here's Czinano, double clutches, no whistle.
I mean, it's like a hot potato right now.
Almost a Minnesota turnover as Braun has to make something happen with 2 seconds left. And that will be a shot clock violation. All kinds of chaos happening there as Spear is slowed to get up.
But did you know that she has hit 4 half-court shots in various shoot-arounds throughout this season? That's what impresses me most. Yes, all the championships and rings are cool, but she's still got it, knocking down half-court shots and showing off to her team.
Oh, she says, I have to show them that I've still got it. I mean, 2 for 2 was pretty impressive to see as Angela misfires from 3.
I mean, those shots, too, were just dead on. I think she swished one of them.
No doubt about those. Peyton, pump fake drive, gets the step and a beautiful finish, turning on the Jets to the rim.
There hasn't been a ton of movement from Minnesota offensively, so Katin getting to the basket is going to force Wake Forest to have to think twice on how they defend her.
Katin ending up in Minnesota. She gets beat backdoor Williams with the 2 because she was recruited by Shimmy Gray Miller out of high school. She was the class of 2016 in California, ends up going to Cal to start things off, but she remembered the relationship that she had with Shimmy Gray Miller.
Well, associate head coach Shimmy Gray Miller has done a fantastic job for this Minnesota team, has implemented a meditation that the team does during shoot-around, in which they just get grounded and ready for the game coming up in the evening.
Elise Williams is fouled, and I know I entertained as we were leaving shoot-around. I thought maybe we should just do this too. Lay down on the floor and meditate before our game.
Well, it's fantastic because it allows each player to just focus on what the task at hand. Mara Braun says that it completely clears her mind, helps her feel more grounded and ready to compete.
It just came over the speakers, and other players have gotten involved. You mentioned Mara Braun.
Lindsay Whalen was doing it.
Lindsay Whalen was doing it. She was just waiting. The enthusiasm they had to just center them before this game, even when other things are going on in the gym. It was a cool thing to see. Free throws there by Williams, who continues to carry a major load. She scored the last 11 points for Wake Forest, and all coming in this second quarter as Czinano is stopped on cleanup duty is Misha for 2. Up ahead, a turnover by Wake Forest. That is their 6th of this first half.
Misha stays aggressive as a post player down low. You have to hunt the box out. Misha on Spear to get the offensive rebound was the most impressive part, and the reason why that became an easy 2 for the post.
4 rebounds for Misha as Braun faces more pressure. The Demon Deacons forcing her away from the basket. Baseline is Katin. More great help defense by Wake Forest. Braun gets free, and there's her first bucket, and she's up to 6.
Braun hasn't really had any looks at the basket, let alone open looks, but a nice job creating that space for herself with the pump fake.
Megan Conley, no good from 3. Minnesota trying to keep this energy going. Late here in the second quarter. Braun can't shut her down for too long. That's 9 points for her now, and a 7-0 run for the Gophers.
Like a microwave scorer, heats up in a hurry. Braun so confident and finally getting some shots off.
Minnesota hoping she finally breaks through. She's the top 5 leading scorer in the Big Ten as a freshman, has a 34-point game under her belt as well.
Defensively, Wake Forest has been denying her so hard, but lost track of her on the drive. The pump fake, dribble, pull up, fantastic decision as the defense was closer to the basket. Doesn't need a ton of space to get it off, but transition threes are one of the hardest things to guard in basketball, and Braun steps up with so much confidence, doesn't care that she started out 1 for 5. She just continues shooting the ball. That's what scorers do best.
Last foul called on Olivia Sumio, and she will go to the bench. Williams on the bench as well, leading the charge offensively. Czinano gets the mid-range to fall, and Minnesota builds on this lead to 4.
Wake Forest has been able to block Czinano on her last drive to the basket. Czinano learned her lesson. She stopped short for an easier, clearer look at the basket.
Approaching 1:30 left in the second quarter. Minnesota trying to come to life in front of their home crowd in this ACC Big Ten Challenge. In the paint, it is Hines. The power dribble, too strong even for her, and she steps out of bounds.
Maggie Czinano doing the right thing by reading the defense, gets the ball, drives, and realizes she has the advantage because her defender comes off balance, and just that little baby jumper avoids getting blocked.
A 9-0 run for the Gophers, who are 4 for their last 4 before that shot, but started 5 of 22.
Wake Forest needs a bucket on this possession just to get some confidence back.
Harrison, the point guard for the Demon Deacons, finds Spear. Caton closes out close, but not close enough as Spear, a difficult shot from the mid-range.
Just what the doctor ordered. Get the ball to Spear and get out the way.
It's been impressive to see how she changes up her shooting. Nearly 70% of her shot attempts are from 3, but she very much is a dynamic 3-level scorer. Ravage looking for Caton. One more pass to Czinano, and she drains the long 2. Minnesota looking much better offensively here late in the first half. Shot clock is off for the Demon Deacons. 3 seconds left for Harrison, and Borovic takes the charge. She is the spark plug for this team.
The Gophers have come alive in the second quarter on the defensive side of the ball. Borovic gets this spot, and Harrison with that little bit of an armbar push-off for the charge.
Braun looking up, and too strong from even beyond half court. Really disparate between the first and second quarter. 5 points, that was all the first 10 minutes compared to 22 in the second, and you see the multiple ways they improved.
It's going to be massive in this second half to continue that defensive intensity.
Braun looking to pick up where she left off. Cannot be left that wide open, and she is the first Gopher in double figures.
Wake Forest fell asleep defensively. Braun was wide open for that shot, and she hasn't even been able to touch the ball throughout this game at times.
Wake Forest had been so good and even denying her the basketball, but now picking up steam for Minnesota as Jamira Hines scores underneath.
3 freshmen, a redshirt freshman, and a sophomore starting for Minnesota. Yet the Gophers have played with so much poise in this game.
Braun, a little heat check there. And it goes out of bounds, staying with Minnesota.
As a freshman, it's so difficult to understand the concept of letting the game come to you. Braun has done just that. Not a shot attempt in the first quarter. She's been able to heat up. The weak side defense was way too far off. If Mara Braun's on your side defensively, you have to get a hand in her face as soon as possible.
Foul is going to be called on Hines as Battle was trying to drive. Braun has 12 points of Minnesota's 30 at this point. The next highest scorer, a couple players with 4. She's really carrying a major load like she has this season. And it was interesting talking to her, Megan, because when she came to Minnesota, when she was recruited by other places like Michigan, Maryland, Iowa are some examples of schools that wanted her, she got to campus and thought, I'm just going to be happy to see the floor, get playing time, let alone Lindsay Whalen putting the ball in my hands at critical moments.
Braun told us that Minnesota was her first ever offer, and the fact that she even got to speak to Lindsay Whalen, she was somewhat starstruck, has always admired Coach Whalen throughout the playing career and wanted to play for her if she got the chance.
Spear drains the 3, badly needed by the Demon Deacons. Both teams shooting 35%, and Spear now up to 7. Shaw over 2 Demon Deacons, and there's Hines skying for that board.
Nisha kept her head down when she dribbled the ball, and therefore she missed the fact that she was double teamed and had teammates open.
Spear, another good look, drains another 3. She's got 10, an 8-0 run for Wake Forest.
Spear had been 2 for 8 in the first half. Now she's heating up. Listen, she's the ACC player, or led the ACC in scoring last year, rather. She's a player that Minnesota needs to know where she is at all time on the floor. There's no help there. The help's late by Heyer. And Spears able to step back and knock down the 3.
Foul keeps it here with the Gophers. Slicing inside is Braun from outside to inside. Her normal Rachel Banham self.
You have to watch the Rachel Banham podcast that Minnesota women's basketball has going on. She's a fantastic host. Does a great job bringing out the personality of everybody, but she's another brilliant basketball mind for the freshmen to be able to pick. Saw KDB talking to her right before half. Another point guard who understands how to win in the Big Ten and how to compete against Power 5 teams.
Turnover by Spear. A double dribble gives it back to Minnesota. By the way, the podcast, Gold-Blooded, highly recommended.
That's what it's called. It makes sense. That's a great name for a podcast, by the way.
Oh, it absolutely is.
I appreciate a good pun.
Snatched, intercepted by Demira Hines, who got right into that passing lane, unobstructed. Wake Forest had a run of its own in this third quarter. It has not been able to find separation against the Gophers.
Wake Forest loves to shoot threes. They average 26 attempts a game and haven't been able to get the three-point shot going, but they've been able to get the drive going.
Harrison with the bucket. Wake Forest, you're right, in this game, 2 for 9 from three-point range. Those coming from Spear. In the paint, it is Misha back to the basket and deep. That will result in 2.
Misha split the double team on that play. In fact, she was almost triple teamed, but still had that advantage because she was so deep in the paint.
Some of this coaching staff has talked about her improving her footwork from last year as well. It can be hard to transition to the Big Ten as a big when you're not just bigger, stronger, taller than everyone else you face in high school, and she's making that transition.
Whalen says she loves the way that Misha has been able to read double teams, deep position, way near the restricted area, then just sees the double team coming over, but quickly splits it to get an open look at the basket. That's just footwork and understanding of the game. It comes with time and reps.
Misha, 6 points, 4 rebounds for the sophomore. Battle will drive and kick. It is Sinano, just grazes front rim there, but goes off of Hines, staying with the Gophers. Scruggs coming in for Wake Forest. Both teams still shooting under 40%. It's Wake Forest at 39, Minnesota at 36 as Braun dumps it into Misha. And the stop by Sumiel, just standing straight up.
I thought that was a shot by Braun at first, and I was like, oh my goodness. But it was in fact a pass to Misha. Staying strong with it. And just a nice job by Wake Forest to get a hand on the ball.
Braun able to get that out of the air. Under 10 to go for the Gophers. Braun with Spear on her, gets a hand in the face. Well executed there defensively by the Demon Deacons. Fantastic
job by Spear as well to make Braun uncomfortable and not give her any room to even have the confidence to get a shot up.
Approaching the midway point of the third quarter. Minnesota leading by 1 in this ACC Big Ten Challenge. The 15th and final as Braun knocks that away out of bounds, staying here with Wake.
Minnesota has not given Wake Forest very many open looks at 3, which is what the Deacs like to do. 26 threes a game they put up. They make 8, but they haven't had very many opportunities to do so.
Both of those numbers lead the ACC as Braun tries to thread the needle. That will go out of bounds. Turnover for Minnesota. Well, Wake Forest, as we mentioned, leads the ACC with over 8 three-pointers per game. They have taken 182. That also leads the ACC, making nearly 42% of their total attempts come from the three-point line. That's the highest percentage in the ACC as well. And second place Clemson is at 32. It's that much of a difference, the focus of the three-point game for Wake Forest.
And credit Minnesota for getting out on the three-point line. They've denied on the wings as well as just not allowed easy looks when it comes to Wake Forest driving and trying to collapse the defense.
Spear is fouled underneath. Again in the paint as Wake Forest has been forced to find their offense another direction. Only 27% of their attempts from three in this game, below that season average as Spear gets to the free throw line for the first time in this game.
When shots aren't falling, it's important as a player to try to get to the basket, get fouled, and get to the line to see the ball go in. Spears done a nice job on that possession of just trying to get a feel back because she really hasn't been effective from the floor. Only 4 for 10, but she's had to work for every single look she's had.
She's got 8 points in this third quarter, and you're right, Minnesota has been making her work at all three levels. Here is Battle rising, but leaving it short, ripped away by Spear. Finds an open Summiel. She was already holding up that made basket as she got back on defense. And a good three for Wake Forest. Backcourt violation is going to be a turnover for the Gophers. They've got 13 in this game, trailing by 4 on the...
That Ohio State-Louisville teams with very similar styles. Both teams play fast, they like to press, they like to score at a high clip. This is going to be a battle to the finish to see who's going to win this year's challenge.
The Big Ten and ACC have split the last two. Big Ten getting its first overall victory in 2019. But the ACC has had the upper hand, including last year winning 10-4. But a good start so far for the Big Ten in this 15th and final Big Ten ACC challenge as Williams out of control off glass, and Borovich will bring it up the floor for the Gophers. Into the paint, Misha is fouled. Free throws coming up here for Rose Misha. Second foul on Jewel Spear. Tomorrow, the ACC Big Ten Women's Challenge continues with a spectacular doubleheader. First, Indiana and North Carolina clash in a top 10 matchup. Then Michigan State hosts Georgia Tech. It's all tomorrow on Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. And Megan, I don't know about you, I am very excited to see in game one of that doubleheader Grace Berger and Alyssa Utsby of North Carolina.
Alyssa Utsby, who's from Minnesota, mind you, is going to sit here in Minneapolis. It's going to be another fantastic matchup. UNC has been really good so far. Just won the Phil Knight Invitational, Legacy, whatever tournament was out there in Portland, but they won it and they have been rolling, as has Indiana.
Minnesota, meanwhile, in a drought again. 3 minutes without scoring. Great look from Williams. Her teammates have talked about how she sees passes ahead. She's like playing chess out.
Wake Forest has done a nice job moving the ball in this third quarter. They've forced Minnesota to play defense longer into the possession, and then they're catching Minnesota off guard on really sharp passes.
7-0 run for Wake Forest as Misha goes right into the chest of Summiel and will draw the foul.
Minnesota has pounded the ball inside the last few possessions, trying to get something going with Misha, but credit the way the Demon Deacons have played on the offensive side of the ball, just staying patient, waiting for the game to come to them. And ball movement, getting the ball inside, outside, forcing the defenses to shift. And then Summiel right underneath the basket, wide open. She had all day to read a newspaper, scroll through Netflix, pick a show to binge watch, and make the layup.
Olivia Summiel is actually going to exit the floor, though. She just picked up her third personal foul. That's something normally that Misha has struggled with as she's at the free throw line. She's fouled out twice this season in 6 games, including their most recent one. So Minnesota certainly believe that that is not the case today, as the lefty is able to net the second. Her first free throw make today. She's 1 for 4.
It's going to be important for Minnesota to focus on getting a stop of this possession. Wake Forest has had a lot of success over the course of the last 2 minutes.
Borovich knocking that away from Spear. A lot of pressure. Williams loses it. Misha battling on the floor. It's a jump ball. Possession arrow will stay here.
Williams went down hard. She ran into Rose Misha. It was like hitting a brick wall. She just kind of collapsed to the ground. Number 21 on your screen lowered her head, but Misha was right there, stayed strong.
She's staying in, taking the ball out. They set up Spear for a great look at a three. What a well-executed baseline out of bounds by the Deeks.
She knocked that down from St. Paul. Wide open, showing off the range.
It's great geography.
Hey, I do what I can.
Misha in the paint, can't flip it up and in, and Spear is going to slow things down as she looks over at head coach Megan Jebian. Borovich trying to stay with her and draws the offensive foul.
The last play by Spear, though, is so good, we'll show you it twice. Nobody's even near Spear. Look, no one's near her. Minnesota gets caught ball watching on the out of bounds play, and Spear says, hey, this is the Twin Cities. Let me knock it down from the opposite one.
St. Paul likes that recognition, by the way. Don't get a lot of shout-outs the same way.
I went to a great Taylor Swift concert in St. Paul, so I'm fond of that city.
Oh, very nice. Minnesota slowing down the transition offense of the Deeks. Scruggs has to pull that down, and she powers it up and through. And Wake Forest all of a sudden has a 10-point lead. It is a starter. Coming up big on that play off the bench. Wake Forest 8 for 10 in this quarter to build their largest lead of this game. And Scruggs comes up with the steal and draws the whistle.
Minnesota has struggled getting the ball inside. The passes have been really lazy. As a guard, when you see the number on the front of the jersey at the post player, get the ball inside. But credit Wake Forest's defense on the perimeter for making it really difficult for the guards to get a clean look at getting the ball to Rose Misha.
That's a good point, because it seems like the Gopher posts are doing the work and getting those deep post-ups.
They've had fantastic position. The guards just can't get them the ball.
Spear, the quick trigger, just rims out. And Caton gets the loose ball. Under 1:30 on the clock in the third quarter. Borovich trying to eat into that lead on one shot. This time she attacks, drops the dime to Misha. Beautiful look and play by Katie Borovich.
Borovich hits Misha right in the chest. Perfect angle to the basket, but she drew two defenders and got the open angle.
An 8-point lead for Wake Forest. And a whistle away from the ball.
Anytime you're able to get a paint touch as an offense, it draws the defense and leads to good things. Wake Forest had to send help side over, so it wasn't an easy look, and Misha is on the receiving end. Just like a little drop pass.
Borovich is going to check out. She just picked up her third personal foul. The only Gopher with three. Battle gets loose ahead, but cannot complete the layup. Caton cleans up the glass.
Minnesota made that a lot harder than it had to be, but if the Gophers are going to get back in this game, it has to start on the defensive side of the ball, getting stops.
They were down by 10 moments ago, now a 2-possession game. Braun guarding Spear, facing up is Becker. Underneath the reverse, done beautifully.
Fearless.
Shot clock is off for Minnesota. Battle is going to throw one up, and Becker will quickly grab the board. Final shot opportunity for Spear and the Demon Deacons, weaving through traffic. A three-pointer on the way, no good. So we head to the fourth with Wake Forest because she had to have skull surgery. They found out that she has something called Chiari malformation, where her skull was too small for her brain and putting pressure on her spinal cord. She was dealing with numbness, uncoordination. She's still dealing with these symptoms right now, but things have greatly improved for her, and she's an important leader for the Gophers.
Borovic just so positive. Her teammates love her, and she's grateful to just be simply playing the game of basketball right now.
She joined early in the spring semester of 2020, now hoping to get her first full season, and Gopher fans would love to see that. Sumiel scoring in the post on the other side. Wake Forest built up to a 10-point lead late in the third quarter, but have not been able to hold on to any greater separation against the Gophers. Knocked away by Sumiel, and Andrews picks it up.
Wake Forest has used its length defensively the last couple of possessions, just being disruptive by getting a hand in the passing lane or a hand up in someone's face.
Sumiel through multiple Gophers, that's no good. Battle for the rebound, and a jump ball will keep it right here. A little chippiness as both Caton
used excessive force. It results in the jump ball call, which goes to the Demon Deacons.
As it stands, Wake Forest leading 49-41. Those offset, they get it into Sumiel, and Caton comes away with the steal. Turning on the Jets, finds higher, and she can't flip it up and in. Might have been able to take a more efficient route to that layup. And she can't get it to go.
Minnesota has made it very difficult for itself at times when it comes to transition buckets. It's almost like players are hesitating and just need to simply go up and finish.
Spear being guarded by the freshman Braun. 5 seconds on the shot clock as she picks up her dribble. The backdoor cut. Sumiel has come up so huge in this quarter. And that's what we heard from Spear, Megan. Watch out for her because of the way she embraces her work.
Well, and Sumiel has fantastic size and has used that length at 6'2" to catch the ball over her defender's head and finish at the rim.
Second leading scorer on the floor. I should say for Wake Forest. She's got 13 points on 6 for 9 shooting. Angelina Hammond new into the game for the Gophers. 3 seconds left for Braun. The scoop and score.
Braun felt Sumiel on her hip and spun right back to the basket, pinned Sumiel on her back, and had an open look.
The patience the freshman had with the time winding down to get a quality shot off, high-level stuff.
It's so impressive how poised Braun has stayed throughout this game, because she didn't get a shot attempt in the first quarter, but has let the game come to her. And on the defensive side of the ball, she's taken on the task of guarding Jewel Spear.
10 seconds on the clock for Wake Forest. Knocked away by Braun. Picking up a deflection.
Braun has stayed patient and poised. Gets Sumiel on her back. Just an easy spin move back to the basket. Sees that she's going to have an open lane if she just puts her defender on her back and still maintains enough space with that far arm to get the shot off.
She's looking like a big in there the way she was able to score as Harrison is fouled. And she'll be shooting 2. On Friday, don't miss Big Ten hockey when the 4th-ranked Gophers head to East Lansing to begin a series with 13th-ranked Michigan State. The puck drops Friday at 6:30 Eastern on Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. Big matchup between 2 ranked teams in men's hockey coming your way. We're still in that great crossover time of year, Megan, where we have volleyball NCAA tournaments starting here at Minnesota and across the Big Ten this week. We've got basketball, we've got hockey, we've got Big Ten football championship game coming up.
That's going to be a fun one. Indianapolis this Saturday. It's fun for us, even though we've been all over the place traveling, covering these events. But how about Taylor Lanphier on the left side of your screen, the Big Ten Volleyball Player of the Year. She was so much fun to watch this season. And Minnesota's going to host the first round of the NCAA tournament right here in Minneapolis this weekend.
And two people down from her was actually Carter Booth, who was named to the all-freshman team as well. A great season for the Gophers, who will take on Southeastern Louisiana on Friday. Certainly a packed pab you can count on. Williams scoring for the Demon Deacons. Lead back up to 10. Lead they had at the end of the third quarter.
I've been impressed with Wake Forest's defense. They've committed to really getting stops. They've been disruptive with length. And ultimately, they forced Minnesota to make some poor decisions passing the ball.
Where can you see improvement in post passing from Minnesota, as that one is knocked away? It just has been an Achilles heel all game long.
Well, guards need to make sure they have a better open look at the basket, and that just comes by either pump faking or taking an extra dribble.
Launches the three, that time from downtown Minneapolis on that side of the floor.
I see what you did there. From the Target Center, would you say?
I'm just so impressed. I know you take a lot of trips here to the Twin Cities, but
my favorite airport in America is the Minneapolis airport. It's fantastic if y'all haven't been here.
Biased. I'm jealous of anyone who has a layover here. Turnaround jump shot does not fall for Harrison, and rebound ripped down by Misha. Braun gonna do it again.
Stop the ball in transition. That is transition defense 101. Wake Forest just runs back to the paint, and Mara Braun says, thank you, next.
6-0 run, all courtesy of the Gophers, up to 24 points. She has scored all 10 of Minnesota's fourth quarter points.
Wake Forest has allowed Braun to have open looks at the basket. The Demon Deacons did a fantastic job in the first quarter of not even letting her catch the ball, but now she's been able to totally take over because she scored in transition.
Incredible shooting here late now. 8 of 13 overall. 2 seconds left for Harrison, who gets it off in time. It is short. Under 5 to go in the fourth quarter. As the crowd swells here at the barn, Spear will be whistled underneath the basket. And some of y'all having a chat with her.
Well, you can't grab a player defensively, as frustrating as that might be, but that was off the ball. Braun trying to get open, and Spear held on to her.
That's the third for Spear. That's 3 Demon Deacons with 3 personals. It's Scruggs, Spear, and Sumio. All 3 of which are on the floor. Battle can't get that to go, keeping the defender on her backside.
Minnesota has missed so many layups at the basket that are wide open. That's going to come back to haunt them when they watch film.
Sumio can't line up the 3. Quick ball movement for the Demon Deacons midway through their shot clock. Spear off a curl, and she is fouled.
That foul happens because Spear cut so hard to the basket, and Battle got stuck behind Spear. Hard cuts force the defense to get out of position.
And that is the third on Amaya Battle, joining Borovich with 3 personals. Scruggs bounces out, and then up and in by Andrews, a big offensive rebound. Braun being guarded by Andrews. Tight through these off-ball screens. Battle finds Borovich, and she misfires from 3, and then another look underneath. Exactly what you were saying, Megan.
In games this close, layups and free throws are crucial. Minnesota has had countless missed layups, and they're 6 for 11 from the line. They have to commit to focusing on the little details.
Braun gets herself open again in transition, can't get it to drop, and Sinano in a difficult spot gets it to go off the Demon Deacons. Get all the news and highlights from around the conference on The Big Show. That's tonight at 11:30 Eastern on Big Ten Network. "15 seconds on the clock for the Gophers. Skip pass to Gradwell, who came off the bench for the first time this season today. 5 seconds left. It is Gradwell, a deep three in the corner, and good. Her first basket, first points tonight. Make this a one-possession game.
Borovic has been fantastic from an assisting standpoint. Gets the ball, and then the relocation by Gradwell. Fantastic 1-2 punch, but it all starts because Borovic drew the defense on the quick dribble.
Borovic through the screen. Tough ball handler. Czinano has nowhere to go with 7 seconds left, and it's up to Borovic, and she cannot thread the needle. Read perfectly by Williams.
Mishaw was so deep in the post, but Borovic was off balance when she went to pass the ball.
Under 3 minutes left, and Spear off a curl again, and she is fouled.
Minnesota has to stop allowing Spear to face cut them, because she is getting a quick cut to the basket every single time and catching Minnesota off guard, because Minnesota's relaxing on defense and Spear is using that as an opportunity to get open.
Is that about being more physical in the lane she's trying to run in, making it more just tougher for her?
And that's what she told us earlier today. Spear has been face guarded. She's been double teamed. So many different types of defenses have been thrown at her because she's such a prolific scorer. She says the way to counter that is by constantly moving. And because she's constantly moving, it wears down the defense. And on the weak side especially, Minnesota's defense is falling asleep.
She's been able to find her points today, 15. She's also got 10 rebounds. But a critical miss there. Normally this season, an 88% free throw shooter. She's only missed 4 of her 34 attempts coming into tonight, and goes 1 for 2 there. A 4-point lead for the Demon Deacons.
Same philosophy of layups and free throws applies to Wake Forest. In a game this close, that focus has to be there on the little things.
Braun gets free, lets it fly, and she's got it.
Braun's catching the ball in rhythm, her shoulder, her square to the basket, and her feet are set when she catches it to let it fly.
27 points, 5 for 10 from 3 as Williams attacks into 3 Gophers and 1.
Fantastic job by Wake Forest to quiet the crowd by just driving it at the basket. Williams stays composed and is able to draw the contact for the finish. Braun coming off the down screen, feet set, shoulder square, let it fly. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. 27 points for the freshman.
Her career high, 34, came in a 101-99 win against Lehigh last week. But she scored 27 of Minnesota's 55 points, nearly half. 2 minutes to go. Braun calls her own number, misfires there, and it will go back to Wake Forest.
Wake Forest has to give Braun a step, because at the three-point line, she has the ability to put the ball on the ground and get to the basket. But right now, Wake Forest has to find a way to make sure they can get a handout quickly to her at 3, because she has... They went to the monitor to see where the ball went out of bounds wise. It was off of Minnesota Wake Forest ball. It's a lot of pressure when the officials come over to tell you the call, because you really got to lock in and listen.
But you've done a great job.
Getting nervous.
Minnesota bringing the full court pressure, able to knock it away. The inbounder is Alexandria Scruggs, who's played a big role in this second half, as Lindsay Whalen has a chat. We'll try this one again with 1:57 on the clock. It is a 4-point game. Williams up ahead to Spear. It was a 2-on-1, but she's going to slow it up.
Now, Minnesota does have 5 fouls. Anytime they foul moving forward, it's 2 shots for Wake Forest. Something to be cognizant of in this next minute and a half.
Spear uses the screen from Sumiel. Gets it back from Scruggs. 5 on the clock. Difficult shot, too strong. Borovic with the rebound. Pushing it in transition. Mishaw off Lex.
We talked to associate head coach of Minnesota, Shimmy Gray-Miller, about post running the floor and how much that does for your offense. Case in point, Miesha runs out far, and now it's a two-point game because of how she committed to that run out.
Reward the big, and that's what Borovic did. 1 minute to go. Samia looking in the paint. It is Scruggs. She's going to dribble it out against Miesha. Will spin with 1 second left. Great interior defense, but an offensive rebound for the Demon Deacons as there is a whistle.
The ball did hit the rim. The clock and shot clock are correct.
47 seconds, 19 on the shot clock. Off that review, a baseline inbound into Samia. She is double teamed, and a timeout called by head coach Megan Jebian.
That's a good timeout by Coach Jebian. That was a good play by Minnesota to trap the ball in the corner. Wake Forest has to be aware on this inbounds of making sure they don't get a teammate caught in the corner.
Wake Forest in the bonus at this point to the shot clock at 17 seconds with this timeout.
Look at Rose Miesha run the floor wide open, runs hard, reward the big. Fantastic find by Borovic as well. And just focusing on finishing. Miesha's missed a couple layups earlier in this game, but she's making them when it counts. Late in the fourth quarter.
2 rebounds away from her 4th double-double this season. Coming up big on the fast break as that is knocked away. Wake Forest leading by 2, 12 seconds on the shot clock as Minnesota has been disruptive on the defensive side, particularly on this possession.
The Gophers have to defend without fouling and make sure they help if Spear gets the ball.
Williams gets the step on Borovic, can't get the mid-range to fall. Scruggs battling for the board. And a kick ball will get it to Minnesota. Gradwell was there battling as well.
Fantastic job by Scruggs. Battling for the ball. And kick ball.
Braun 27 points on 9 for 16 shooting. She was held scoreless, held shotless in the first quarter. They get it into her. A top 5 scorer in the Big Ten, looking for that quick 2. That goes out of bounds. Good defense by the Demon Deacons.
Great defense by Wake Forest. I like the decision by Braun to take it to the basket. She doesn't try to be the hero and hit the 3. She tries to get the tie.
Shot clock remains off. 21.7 seconds on the clock, with Minnesota trailing by 2. Braun being guarded by Alyssa Andrews, as she has faced throughout much of this second half. Minnesota going with the lineup they've had for much of this season, with Maya Battle on the bench. Here is Braun, baseline jumper over 2 Deeks. Here is Miesha, and 1.
You get in the weight room in the offseason to finish with plays like this. Wake Forest switches everything. Braun gets a look, but Rose Miesha in the right place at the right time, finishing with contact. She doesn't even use the backboard. That was simply the level of difficulty on that shot, to not even use the backboard, but still finish with that angle and get hit in the face. Fantastic work by Rose Miesha down low.
The power she's displayed. Minnesota with this free throw, looking for its first lead since it was 34-33 midway through the third quarter. Miesha today 1 for 4 from the free throw line. And it stays tied. Timeout called by Wake Forest. Both teams.
Wake Forest needs to get the ball to Spear, run her off a ball screen, and let her go to work. Minnesota has to send potentially 2 people at Spear to make sure she does not have a clean look at the basket.
Williams is the inbounder, and they go into the backcourt. It is in the hands of Spear, guarded by the freshman Braun. Seconds left. Spear wants to say game over, but 3 seconds left. What a NBA and playing professionally, and Minnesota needs a 3 to tie this one up. 3 seconds on the clock.
Get the ball to Mara Braun.
And a foul called. An offensive foul. Scruggs drawing the push-up.
Wow. Is a player that you're going to hear about for a very long time. She's going to have a fantastic professional career after this college.
Andrews, the inbounder. 2.7 seconds on the clock. Both teams in the bonus, and they will foul Scruggs. This season, 2 for 10 from the free throw line. But a miss would all but end this. .7 on the clock. She nets the first, makes it a 4-point game.
And they're telling her to miss the free throw, coaching staff is.
And she does. And Minnesota will drop their final Big Ten